It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
Welcome to another edition of Iconic Creators. I'm your host, Baxter Colburn. We've had a lot of fun the last couple of weeks with more of these interviews that have been a little outside of the creative space in terms of the typical photo and video content. If you've been listening to the show for a while, you know that I've had the pleasure to talk to some amazing photographers and videographers, but I've really enjoyed my conversations with people that create in other spaces. And today, I've got a very industry-specific content creator on today. Her and I crossed paths almost a year ago now, I feel like at this point. We've known of each other and been online friends, as they say, for a while. I've never had the pleasure to meet her in person, but I'm really excited. I've got Jessica Brown with me today. She's got the Instagram handle of Bikes and Balayage, and I'm really excited to dive in a little bit more with her today. So Jessica, welcome to the podcast. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you and I, for context, right? You and I met on Instagram through my old job because we were looking for influencers. That I think ties in nicely to what you do and who you are, right? And I remember having the conversation with my boss, and I was like, "Hey, like I found this gal. We were just doing, just biker research, influencer research, because I worked for a company that did motorcycle luggage, and I remember coming across your page and seeing the vibe that you had and the awesome bikes that you had, and I was like, this is a girl we need to talk to. And I think we talked on the phone or did something pretty quickly after we connected. And I just remember being infatuated with your energy and just who you are as a person. You have a very, fun, uplifting personality. And it was just a lot of fun to connect with you in that regard. But give people a little bit of context for those that don't know who you are and kind of what you do in the creative space, please.
Again, my name is Jessica, and I fell in love with motorcycles about 3 years ago. And when I first started getting into it, I saw other females in the industry posting and doing all this fun stuff. So I was inspired by them, which then led to me starting to post and go to events and posting my travels, which then quickly kind of turned into this influencer type relationship on social media. And it's ended up becoming such an amazing opportunity for me. I've made some of the most amazing relationships personally, but also like networking wise with businesses and companies. Been able to experience incredible trips and see the countryside and all that stuff. But I don't know, it's been really amazing. I think going back like 10 years, I was in a makeup company. I'm also a hairdresser by trade. So that's what I do for my full-time job. And I was posting about makeup and stuff. And I wanted so badly at that time to become like an influencer, but I guess the timing wasn't right. So now this is kind of where it ended up. And I love it. It's so much fun.
I don't think I realized that it's only been 3 years that you've been obsessed with this space. I would have guessed that you were, had somebody growing up that taught you about motorcycles and you were fascinated and infatuated with it. I didn't realize it was such a smaller period of time. If you didn't know from the outside, you wouldn't know that this is a newer thing for you. I'm shocked by that. Was it a friend or how did you get involved with motorcycles at such a intimate level?
I would say I actually wanted to ride back when I was like 18 years old. My mom rides and my stepdad. Whenever my mom got with my stepdad, he rode a Harley Davidson and I saw my mom riding her own motorcycle and I was like, that is so badass. So I wanted to do it then, but I didn't do it until 2021. And that's when I actually got on my own motorcycle.
Okay. That's so cool. So you have really developed a fun audience. I feel like you mentioned you travel a lot. You've done brand deals, right? As one that's kind of helped facilitate that one at one point or another as well. You do such a great job of just being honest and just kind of showing people what life is like with Jess, right? Like talk to me a little bit about when you get on the bike and you're saying, okay, today I'm going to do a video about whatever it is that I'm doing, right? What kind of goes through your mind as far as some of the planning sides of it, or just from a creation perspective of what you hope to accomplish or take the viewer through once they get to watch the final product?
I feel like my one of the things, the values that I put behind my work is definitely authenticity. I try to be very authentic and real, and I, which means that I share when I mess up or if I do something wrong. I feel like that is such an important thing when it comes to working with companies and then also building trust from viewers. I think people really value authenticity and realness. So I just really try to be so real. I'm like, guess what, guys? It's finally 40 degrees. I'm so excited to get out on my motorcycle today. And then again, you can hear the energy also. Like that
Yes.
energy is contagious, and people get excited about that. Or if they're miserable, they hate that I'm so happy and they want to
They're like,
talk
"Stop,
crap,
Jessica." Yeah.
which is fine too, because the haters also just boost algorithms. So keep on hating.
Right? Their views still count, right? That's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. So I'll just keep bumping it up. I
Yeah.
love that because, as you mentioned, right, that authenticity is something that can be lost on social media. And I feel like people are
Mhm.
getting a lot better about that in terms of showing their true organic self. So many times I feel like people have to feel like they have to put on a face, or they have to, for women, have to put on all this makeup or have to do all this stuff just to get ready for a 30-second video. And it's like, no, like you can pick up your phone and you can just say, hey, this is where I'm at today. Come along if you want to. I hope you enjoy it, and feel free to feel like you can live vicariously. I'm going on a 10-mile ride today. Hope hope it brings a little bit of joy to your day because I was lucky enough to go do that today, right? Type of thing.
Yeah.
I really am interested from a motorcycle perspective. You are in an industry, and I know this, but I'm saying this for the non people that know this. You're in a very male dominant industry, right? I mean,
Mhm.
typically for a long, long time, if it was motorcycles, it was men, right? It was a manly thing to do to get a Harley and ride a motorcycle, all the manly men, right? I'm sure you still encounter that. But
Mhm.
this revolution, I would say, is I feel like a good word to use for it, of female writers and female influencers in the space over even I would say the last 3 to 5 years, and correct me if I'm wrong on that, I feel like has flipped the industry on its head and provided such a cool, unique lens into the space. How have you felt that from your 3 years in the space and from just what you've experienced with all the amazing women that you've connected with?
I think that you're right about that. It's one of the fastest growing demographics in motorcycling is women riders. And I think that is so awesome. Personally,
Hmm.
my personal experience is that it's so empowering to be able to handle this huge machine that is very
Hmm.
heavy. It's mechanical. Being able to do some simple work on my bike is very empowering. And then I think, again, that inspiration that I got from my mom is also kind of my responsibility as well to be able to inspire other people. And sometimes all it takes is to see somebody else doing it to realize that, oh my gosh, if she can do it, I can do it too. So
Absolutely.
I think that's kind of really important for us female writers to be able to share um, insights and what works and what doesn't work for us. That way we can help somebody else that might be looking to do the same thing.
I love that. And I think that that is such a unique thing about it, right? Sometimes I feel like, once again, from an outsider's perspective, motorcycling and riding can be viewed as this like solo sport, this lone thing, right? Like it's me and the bike in the open road. I don't need a crew. I don't need people with me, right? But
Mhm.
I want talk to me about the community that you've built. You do such a great job when you are at events and even just your day-to-day life from what I've seen too, as I have your Instagram in front of me as I'm just kind of going through it again.
Mhm.
You always have a crew of ladies with you. You always have different people with you at different events. And it's not like you're, just going to the event down the street, right? Like you travel sometimes hundreds of miles to go to these
Mhm.
events, and you always have a great group of people around you. Talk about some of those new relationships that I'm sure you probably didn't know any of these people 3 to 5 to 10 years ago that now are probably some of
Yeah.
your best friends.
Yeah, so it really comes down to connecting via social media. So, Instagram, you start following people and you decide that at an event that you want to meet. And in those meetings, you kind of energetically feel it out and see if you really connect with these people. And some of them become best friends for life. Other people, you kind of like, you're not a really great fit, but you're happy to meet them. You tag each
Mhm.
other on social media. It's a great friendship or whatever. But um, also within the my community here, it's nice to be able to talk to people that ride in my area, and
Mhm.
um, I do love bringing people together. So I started actually hosting bike nights in my local community
Yep.
just because I do love bringing people together. Even if I don't make lifelong friends, just being able to bring people together, talk about motorcycles, share the love, and then also raise money for different charities within my community is has been
Mm.
very fulfilling and a lot of fun.
I love that because the give back side of it, I think, right, as you mentioned, the charity, being able to utilize a fun community to make an impact, I think goes such a long way. Talk to me about some of your favorite events that you like to go to, because, like I said, as a fly on the wall, I love watching. Anytime you're like, oh, I'm headed to a new one, I'm headed to Florida, I'm headed to Sturgis, right? You're somewhere. Always, it feels like all the time. You
Yeah.
must have unlimited. You must either have a very gracious employer or unlimited PTO. One of the two. I'm not sure how you've managed to do as much as you do. Either whatever your deal might be, but talk to me about some of your favorite events and why you look so forward to going to those events.
So my top favorite is Sturgis, South Dakota, because the riding and the scenery out there, the national parks are just absolutely mind blowing. It's one of the not the oldest, but one of the oldest rallies. So there's a lot of history there. It brings out probably the most people. So you
Hmm.
just get the best, well rounded experience. Second best is, I would say, Daytona, but you're missing out on the riding. It's in
Mm.
Florida. Obviously, there's no hills, there's no national parks. So that's really, honestly, my favorite just because it's in March. So in March, after us northeastern people have endured the cold, we can't wait to get down to warmer weather and ride in a t-shirt. It's
All
a
right.
great party. It's a great networking event. So it's a great time to work and build relationships with companies and meet friends. And then my third favorite, I actually was first time I went was this past October to the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee. And
Mm.
again, another beautiful area to ride, beautiful scenery. The people there are so nice. And that was actually a much, much smaller rally. This was actually, I think, their second or third year. Um, and that was a really great experience as well.
Hmm. I love that. Yeah, I love the diversity of it. I remember Sturgis always being such a big, pivotal one every year that everyone's got circled. Sturgis is just, filled for a couple of weeks, it feels like, right? Of people coming in and thousands of bikers from around the world. Truthfully, I know people that would ship their bikes to the
Oh,
US
yeah.
and then ride them in, right? At that point. From from a social media perspective, let's go back to that here for a moment if we can.
Okay.
When you are at these events, obviously you want to be a consumer of the event, right? You want to just take it all in and let the event happen to you. But because you've built this following and you've built this influencer status now, how do you approach these events? Is it I know I have to do some work while I'm here, right? I need to make sure I'm shooting some footage, or do you have things that are pre-set up that I need to go talk to that company while I'm here, or I have to do a 30-second video with that another influencer as well? Like, how do you continue to grow and utilize what I would say are kind of like your Super Bowls, right? Every time, especially Sturgis, when it's around, to
Mhm.
maximize your audience and utilize that to continue to grow and gain more influence.
Um, I would say, like, for instance, I'm going to Daytona in March. I have at least one obligation where I'm working with a company. They're going to put a product on my bike.
Hmm.
And then in turn, I'm going to do content based on the installation and the experience. And then, of course, on the ride home, be able to use the product and give a good review on that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's more of like a trade thing that we have going on. But really, I want to go by all of the brands and companies that I use and support and talk to them and, just promote them while I'm there. But honestly, I don't put too much pressure on the business side when I go to events. I really do go to enjoy myself. And I do really believe that everything happens for a reason. And I just
Mm-hmm.
a very like, I don't know. I don't put too much pressure on that. I also don't have a super big YouTube, whereas like I can think of Jess, her two wheels, she has like,
Hmm.
meet and greets that she sets up and all these other things. I'm not quite to that level yet, but as things keep building and companies want me to give some of their time, then obviously I will make time for that in my trips for sure.
Absolutely. I'm curious because you kind of hit on that fact. You're not that big yet, but you're at 54,000 followers on Instagram, right? I'm curious, how do you view that audience? And does that number ever just kind of make you shake your head like, what? Like, how did we get to that point? Because that's not a number to just be like, ah, I only have 54,000 followers. Like, that's a big deal. Like, you've clearly done your work. You've had a couple of reels go viral, obviously on your
Mhm.
Instagram specifically is what I'm talking about. You've got one that I saw was over 1 million views. You certainly have done enough, it feels like, to
Mhm.
entertain an audience and build that, right? Like, how do you feel? Do you allow yourself to pat yourself on the back a little bit when you look at that audience and the dedicated followers that you've acquired?
I think I think yes. I mean, obviously, like I'm grateful, and I think I really do believe that I put in the work and have something special to be able to get to that point. And that's another thing I'd say is um, whenever it comes to building new relationships with companies that you don't have relationships with, one of the things that I've done is get a little scared and ask a question like,
Hmm.
if there's a company that I've never worked with before, what's the worst thing that can happen if I ask to work with them? The worst thing
Right.
they can say is no. So I think it's important if you are trying to build yourself that you need to be okay with being uncomfortable and asking for things in a respectful, like give and take relationship way. You know what I mean? Like I do believe that I have value to give, and I feel like I've earned that. So yes, I do. I see my value, yes,
Mm.
but I also see other people's value, and I'm like, I'm not quite there yet either.
Right, right. No, I think that that's important because so much of what I feel like we do is play the comparison game, right? I'm so guilty of that as a photographer and videographer. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
my photos were nice, but it wasn't that, and I wasn't like that, or my video was okay, but whatever. Or you play the numbers game, like, oh, I only got 50 likes on this post. Like, that, if you put 50 people in a room, it's like, oh my gosh, like, thank you,
That's a
everyone.
lot.
Like, it's 50 people, right? Like, we always try to downplay, I feel like, that number.
Mhm.
So I would encourage you as well as just an outside person saying, hey, you've done a really great job as someone that's just kind of followed you and watched you for the last year. Like you're doing a really, really good job. And I strongly encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, right? And keep looking for that next level to, keep building and keep building.
Mhm.
But also allow yourself to pat yourself on the back and be like, yeah, we're doing some good stuff here. Like, good job, everybody. Like, holy cow.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I'm curious from a gear perspective. What are you using? I'm always fascinated by those that are travel creators, essentially, right? Because
Mhm.
you're on the move. You have to have gear that can be mounted to things that can take a fall, that can take the elements, right? Like, what are you using to capture you on the road and as well as just at events or festivals, right? That you're covering as well.
So if I have like the 360 video, I have the Insta360 X2, which has
Nice.
served me very well. I've had that for 2 years or so, and I love that. I recently got the forward facing Ace Pro from Insta360, so I can do
Hmm.
helmet cam footage while I'm riding. So for a point of view, and also really great for YouTube once I
Yeah.
get that going. And then I use my phone a lot for
Okay.
Instagram stories and things like that. I have an iPhone, and I really had to upgrade my phone mount on my motorcycle so I can safely and effectively remove the phone and safely film while I'm riding, which is not safe per se, but we do it. And
You won't tell
then
anyone.
mount it back. And
Yep.
then I did get one of those gimbal things. Oh shoot, what's it called? Oh, the DJI Osmo 3 or
Oh, you have
something.
the yeah, yeah.
Osmo
You have the Pocket
Osmo
3.
2. It may be a newer or an older model, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you have a ton of great gear that you already can use, and I feel like It's got to make you laugh a little bit, and maybe this just would make me laugh, right? Like getting on my bike, putting my phone, turning that on, setting the video for that, putting the 360 camera wherever it is, putting my helmet camera on, right? Like I'm laughing as I'm saying it out loud because it's silly, but also very important, right? All at the same time,
Yeah.
right? Like do you ever just sit there before you ride and be like, what are we doing? Like, what's happening here? Like, can I not just go for a ride? Like, why do I have to
Yeah.
have three different points of contact here from a video perspective? But
Definitely.
I
I think I haven't, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
go.
I haven't used the helmet cam a whole lot, but that is
Okay.
going to require planning for me because I do not want to have the camera on my helmet all the time. It's very heavy. So it would
Oh,
be honestly
interesting.
probably not great for my neck. So I want to be precise and thoughtful of when I actually use that. So I can't have that like all the time.
Got it. Got it. Okay. That makes sense. I know, I feel like I've seen so many riders that constantly, like, they've just got the mount built in and then they just take the camera right and kind of clip it on and then they're on their
Mhm.
way. Whether it's the Ace Pro or whatever you end up using, DJI makes great action cameras. GoPro obviously makes great cameras as well, just
Mhm.
depending on what you want to do that is a lot lighter. I always have I don't use it a ton, but I love just having it in my bag as a, just in case all else goes wrong. I have the Action, excuse me, the DJI Action 4 in my bag.
Okay.
Yeah, it's super small compared to my iPhone, right? Like it's not
Oh,
very
yeah.
big, right? So it's tiny here. But it's just another good cameras to have. But the Pocket 2 or the Pocket 3, depending on which one it is that you have, are phenomenal cameras, especially the 3. Just with the fact that you can do your vlogging on there if you've got the microphone, right? Like you can do so much that iPhones can do as well. But that built-in stabilizer, I think, goes such a long way for people.
Yeah.
Do you have your eyes on any gear that you haven't bought yet that you're excited to hopefully add in? I know some people get really crazy into the drones and other just different mounts and other fun things of like points of view. Or I think you've done this too. I've noticed where you turn the microphone on your helmet and you've talked right while you've gone for drives as well.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I just got that set up within the last 6 months or so, and I've tried it out a couple times, and I've tried different setups as well. So I've tried the GIMP, or I forget what you call it, but I don't know the thing, the speaker. It's called something, and you connect it to the camera. I've
Yeah,
tried that.
like the Bluetooth like connection from there to there, you're saying, or what are you talking about?
Well, I do have the option to connect my camera
Oh, sure.
to my headset on my phone on my so I have a Cardo communication system. It's how I communicate. I can talk, I can listen to music. I can
Yep.
connect that with my camera, but I hear no road noise,
Hmm.
which in the vlogging world, everybody wants to hear like the road noise and you want to
Yeah.
hear the throttle and stuff like that. So then I got the connection from the camera to a, what do you call that? The boom or something like
Yeah,
the
yep,
mic.
the microphone boom that
The
kind of comes.
microphone, yeah. And that seems to be a better setup because then you can hear my voice and hear the road noise. So I've had to try a couple different things to figure out what works best. But
Because you're talking about the mic right there, right? That's like right by your mouth. That's like underneath the helmet.
yes, that one's attached to my communication system on my helmet.
Okay.
And I have the microphone for my camera setup, like actually taped like
Taped
inside
on
of
the.
the chin of the helmet.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting. I'm always curious, right? Because you are not, I mean, you're kind of stuck, right? Like you put the helmet on and you're like, great, like I gotta be good to go here. Otherwise I can't be, fudging and flipping with it as you're flying down the road or doing any of that other stuff, right? So that certainly is a little trial by fire sometimes as well.
Mhm.
That's interesting. I'm always fascinated by what people find works well for them. Um, I always love asking this question. What is either a brand deal or just a partnership that you haven't done yet that is just a huge goal of yours that you would just die if you got the call or the email tomorrow saying, "Hey Jessica, this is XYZ from XYZ. Let's do something together."
Um, I would say like if Harley Davidson itself reached out and said that they wanted me to like bring me out to an event or they wanted to put me in a commercial or
Hmm.
something like really big like that, that would be so freaking cool. and I'm already a baby step in that direction. They actually contacted
Ooh,
me when I bought my new motorcycle and sent me some products to put on my bike, which was so awesome.
that's
So I
amazing.
already have like my little toe in there.
So they're
So
generally aware then.
yes, they know who I am and they follow me. So that's awesome.
Oh my gosh, that had to have been such a wild moment. Be like, what? Like Harley?
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. Okay. What about events? Is there any like specific events that you're like, oh my, like if I don't know if Europe or anybody else does big ones, but like, would there be something like that where you get to like, hey, we're gonna pay for you to go to this event? Like, what's that event for you?
Um, I've
I
never
know.
been to the what?
I was just say I know Sturgis is the big one, right? A lot of people are like that.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one to go to. But like, I didn't know if there were other ones that you're like, yeah, I've just never been able to get to that one. Or in Argentina, they did this really awesome thing. Whatever it is, right? Like, what
Yeah,
does
I'm
that look
not
like
too
for you?
familiar with outside of the United States motorcycle
Okay.
stuff. However, that's a really great idea. I would probably add that to the list. If somebody was like, "Hey, I want you to moto
Hmm.
vlog this experience out here in another country," I'd be like, "Hell yes,
Yes.
sign me up."
Yeah.
Pay
Right. How
for my
cool would that be?
travel. That sounds great.
I'm on my way, and I know a great videographer that'll come with me, right? And they'll come do it
Yeah.
all. I love it. I love it. What's next for you? What does 2025 look like for you? How are you? What are you looking forward to the most about this year?
Oh, this year I'm doing a cross country trip on my motorcycle. I'm taking off
Really?
3 weeks
Okay.
and I am doing it solo as of now. I kind
Whoa.
of really wanted to do it solo. That way I didn't have to veer off course of what I wanted to do within that time frame.
Okay.
I do not have a route planned yet. I just have my time off. I know I'm going to hit the Redwoods in California and hit
Ooh.
Sturgis on the way back, but the in-betweens are unknown quite yet. So with that being said, I'm going to sell my first motorcycle, Gypsy, which has been the evolution of bikes and balayage. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use those proceeds to kind of fund the trip because taking 3 weeks off of work is going to hurt.
I was gonna say that's not gonna be something to just easily do. It's interesting that you mentioned Gypsy because while you were talking earlier, I was diving through and I came across these photos of um, Jess in 2021, and I look at these photos and
Mhm.
I'm curious from your perspective. We don't have to get super deep here, but like, who is this Jess in 2021 and who is Jess now from personal social media perspective? Like, talk to me a little bit about that with Gypsy, right? Some of that, those memories that
Mhm.
are tied to that bike as well.
Jess in 2021 was just coming into her power, feeling so empowered by this
Mm,
motorcycle, being so excited, so much excitement around more, experiencing more, meeting more people, going to more events. And now I have experienced so much, but I still have so much desire to continue to experience more and know more people and do more. And, how can I thinking about ways, how can I get sponsorships for my big 3 week trip? And how can I
yep.
give value to people to continue to build my brand and um, be authentic to me still? And yeah, just how can I do more and be more? I love it.
Mm, I love that. I think that's awesome. And you would hope to see that growth, right? That continued growth and development and just trying to learn and be different from who you were 4 years ago than who you are today, right?
Hmm.
One of the last questions I always love to ask people is when you're not doing what you do, so riding a bike or doing hair or being amazing, how do you take care of yourself?
I love to do personal development on a daily, weekly basis. Actually, before I got on the podcast, I was or on your podcast, I was listening to another podcast, and I love to listen about mindset, health, and business, wealth strategies, and things like that. I just feel like bettering yourself as a person only radiates good vibes and stuff out there. So,
Absolutely. I love
yeah.
that. That's awesome. What podcast do you enjoy? I'm always curious when people are big podcasters.
I was listening to Lewis Howes, The School of Greatness. I don't know if
Yep,
you've ever heard of that one.
sure have.
That's one of my favorites. I feel like he always has really good speakers and topics.
Yes. Yep. I feel like that's always really fun just to kind of see the different vantage points that they have on that.
Mhm.
Very awesome. All right. Before I let you go, tell me and the audience three other amazing biker ladies that we should be following just to learn more about the biker industry.
Okay.
To give you a chance to shout out some of your besties there.
Well, one of my besties is Jess Rips, JESS _ I think it's _ RIPS. That's my bestie from Florida. She and I met at a rally in Daytona, and we hit it off over listening to a cover band. And then she invited me to Florida for her birthday, and we were like, oh, we're best friends. We
Love
also traveled to Wyoming and Glacier National Park in Montana and all that stuff. So we've just done a lot of cool stuff together. And then who else? I'm trying to think of like inspirational people. Ride to Food. I've only met her in person once, but she is an amazing creator. I feel like you personally, since you're a videographer, photographer, would appreciate her work so much.
Okay.
She does beautiful videography and beautiful photography herself and is really a one-man show. She does amazing work. And
Okay,
then,
I've got her in front of me here too. Holy cow. Yeah, that's some really good
she's incredible. And then also Her Two Wheels is really, really great as well. Have you heard of her?
I
Jess?
have, yep.
Yep. So
I'm
she's also
I'm
really
sensing a
great.
trend that everybody good to follow is named Jess.
Jess.
That's interesting. Interesting. Just something I picked up on. That's incredible. I love it. Okay, well, Jess, before we let you go, tell people how they can find more about you and best way to get a hold of you. If a company's listening or other people just want to work with you and find the work that you do.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at Bikes and Balayage. There are periods in between the words, but BALAYAGE is balayage, and balayage is a hair technique. And I just kind of married the two passions of mine, hair and bikes, and that's my handle.
I love that. We didn't even get into the hair side of things, but maybe that's a follow-up conversation at one point. So, well, Jessica, thank you so much for your time today. I'm really grateful that you took time to be here. I'm excited to see what 2025 has in store for you. You've been a lot of fun to follow and just a joy to speak with. So thank you for the time.
Thank you, Baxter, and I appreciate your support.
My pleasure. Certainly my pleasure. A big thank you to all of you for listening into this next episode of Iconic Creators. If anything from today resonated with you, please feel free to reach out. Reach out to Jess, too, if you're getting into the motorcycle community and want to learn more. A reminder, the show is on Apple Podcasts and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. You can find me at Baxter Colburn or at Colburn Creative Co. to see some of the business work that I get to do there as well. And the show comes out every Monday for you. So please join us again next week for another episode of Iconic Creators. We'll see you next time.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.